polyacrylamide that's been researched in agricultural production by many people, including my colleagues in Salinas and Barry here, Ferrara, who's a staff research associate in Monterey County with Cooperative Extension. And Barry's been working with the PAM, or polyacrylamide, for years, probably, out in production ad. And Mike has, my counterpart, who works on water quality and down in Salinas. So Barry is going to talk a little bit more about PAM, what they've done in ag production, and we have a demonstration here that's sort of like maybe a look in the future of where we might go in research in using PAM in container nurseries. So, hello. Good to be here. Thank you, Steve. As he said, I work with Mike Kahn, who's an irrigation and water quality specialist out of Monterey County Cooperative Extension. And didn't bring beer today, just brought PAM. But I'm here today to give you an introduction to PAM, how it's used, how it might be applied, what it is. So, start with...
Do you want me to hold something?
No, I'm fine. PAM has been demonstrated in agricultural situations, agronomic, and many places, to significantly control sediment in irrigation runoff from vegetable crops, from field crops, and it also works on certain pesticides and on certain nutrients, the ones that are followed in the sediment part of the fraction of the runoff.
And we got a little bit of that today about the KOCs and that, so there was a little bit of prep for that.
Yeah,
So the ones that are adhered to the organic fraction, this might work on trying to reduce that organic fraction out, and along with comes the pyrethroids.
Yes, exactly. It works on pyrethroids. It does not work very well on chlorpyrifos. And it does not that great on nitrates in water, but it does work very, very well on sediments and all those types of things that adhere to sediments, soil sediments. So, what is it? PAM is a linear polymer, long chain of carbon and nitrogen, and it's used for agriculture, as I said, agricultural sediment control. It's also used in a variety of wastewater treatment applications, just to clear up water before it's recycled from, say, a municipal treatment plant. It's also used in dust control. A lot of the people who have dust issues, quarries and such, they'll put it in their tank, their water tanks. It's dusting their roads, keeping dust down on their roads. The PAM that's used for water quality improvement is a linear molecule. There's also a cross-linked PAM, polyacrylamide, that's used as a soil moisture. It improves the water holding capacity of nursery potting mixes. It's an amendment.
But it's different. It's really different.
It's really
different molecule.
And then, as far as the product itself, it comes dry granular. It comes as a tablet. It also comes as an emulsified liquid with crop oil. So it comes in a variety of forms. What we have found in our work is that it can be, in furrow situations, it can be applied dry at the top of the furrow in a tablet, or as a dry granular in a little plastic porous bag. And then for most of our other crops, and we're not doing a lot of furrow irrigation in Salinas anymore, in sprinkler irrigation, it's best if you apply it as a liquid through the sprinkler system with the water. PAM works by it improves the aggregation of the soil particles in the soil so that they don't come loose, and even then when they do come loose and get into the liquid phase of the irrigation runoff, it will flocculate them. In other words, it will bind with them and drop them out of solution. So that's how it works. I think I'll go to my demonstration, and as I prepare this, I'll give some commentary and take questions. So what I'm going to do is, I've got 2 pots with just potting soil in them, and I'm going to put a known volume of water through those and collect the runoff and put it in this tube through to show how cloudy it is. And things will rapidly, depending on the potting mix, it may or may not rapidly or not so rapidly deposit the sediment. And then I'm also going to have a treatment where I get a liquid PAM through a pot, and treatment where I put mixed dry PAM into the soil prior to putting the water on it. Let me make that one up right now. And I'm not going to be very scientific about it. I'll leave that to Steve. But it takes, one of the things you'll find out about PAM is a minuscule amount. We're talking about, I think it's 10 to 20, no, 2.5 to 10 parts per million is what we found useful in sprinkler irrigated crops. A little fairy dust.
Put like a teaspoon maybe in there?
Not even.
Not even.
It doesn't even need to be a teaspoon. One of the things about PAM is it's a very sticky molecule. Those long chains, so it's one of the things that people have been concerned with, and we've brought this to their attention, is the difficulty in handling it. It will clog certain type of injectors really fast. It doesn't go into solution very well. So that's one of the things you've got to deal with and think about as we go forward using this product. These are 2 pots that were treated with PAM last Friday, and we're going to see what the effect, the second round of water through it. Typically, PAM works best on that first irrigation through soil when the soil's most disturbed, and we see that in direct seeded crops in the Salinas Valley. That first irrigation on that direct seeded field, when the soil's all stirred up, that's when you get the most runoff. That's when you get the biggest effect of PAM. Subsequent irrigations, you don't need the PAM as much because the soil is already kind of packed and settled, but it does have some effect. So we typically recommend growers put it on for the first 4 irrigations on a direct seeding crop. So these have been already treated with PAM a week ago. We may see some difference in how well it works the second time around. So just to further complicate things, I've added some PAM to this water too. So just to show that you can apply it granularly or through the water. What should we do? We're going to apply 64 ounces to 2 pots.
Does that water sound a little bit different, or am I just imagining that?
You're not imagining it.
It does sound
It's
different.
not going into solution very well. And it will glop more than it will splash. I'm going to put it back in here and shake it some more.
Is there anything you can mix it with that would cause the molecules to separate?
You want to take a
What we've typically done is, in addition to get it into solution, when we're injecting it into a sprinkler irrigated field, it will have a big auger pump pumping it directly in, but through a static mixer, just to get it further disturbed. And that's what PAM does. And if you let the tank settle, it'll settle to the bottom, it'll stick to the sides, It's gooey stuff. Oh man.
Or Pam's upset.
Sounds great until we actually tried to use it.
Good enough. Well, I said it's 64 ounces.
It's life is a science project.
Right, it's not what it does though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it might be good for,
Looks to me like it'd be easier to mix it with the dry soil and fire it.
if you've got an oil spill, maybe settle the waves in the oil, in the ocean.
So PAM on the left and then clear water here then. 64 ounces in each.
Water in those ones that were treated with
And then,
Friday.
okay.
Anything coming out the bottom there? Yep. Pretty clear. It may also affect the volume of water that goes that's retained. You've seen some effect.
Did we get some bottled water? Or?
No, no.
Oh, you've got it. Okay, so these are the ones that were done about a week ago, I guess, and both with PAM.
Filtration. A little bit less water, but dirtier. That's a pretty clear difference.
So I know that my colleague down in Orange County, John Kabashima, has spent a lot of time working on fire ant control down there for the nursery industry so that we don't get the fire ants up here. And of course they're adding a whole bunch of pyrethroid, bifenthrin, in the soil mixes. So he thought, I told him what we were thinking about doing. He says that it's exactly what they've been thinking about too. If you could add the PAM in with the soil mix and along with the bifenthrin, hopefully you keep the bifenthrin where it's supposed to be, that is in the pot instead of going out into the watershed in Orange County. Ooh, this is good.
Not bad for tailgate
we
tailgate experiment. But no, there should be there's definitely reason to be interested in this for that sediment and control.
So I'll just say that this was kind of a brainchild of Michael Kahn a little bit. I was talking to him about, kind of adapting this concept for the nursery industry, and he thought, this would be such a simple process because you have your soil mixes made up for you. You just have them add just a minute amount of PAM in along with the soil mix, so you guys don't have to think about anything. And then you're placing it out in the nursery in kind of randomly in a way, because it's sort of like all the newer crops that you're placing out. So you're placing it out, and we thought was that some of the PAM goes out the bottom of the pot and gets into the waterways, and that is actually hopefully would affect the pickup of or flocculate the water as it flows along, our water ditches and that too. So that you'd kind of always have this PAM going into the nursery in a random way, so you're really distributing it. It's a distribution method. So anyway, where we're at now, since I saw this for the first time, actually, we were going to do some proportions and try to figure it out, a little bit more accurately. But since I saw this, we're probably going to move forward now and try to figure out what the minimum amount of PAM that we could place in the soil, and then and see exactly whether it should be a powder or whether it should be applied as a liquid. I think we'd like it as a powder because it's just really easy for us to do that, because we're putting fertilizers and maybe insecticides in some cases in at the same time. So, any questions on this? Again, you're seeing a little teaser here of what we might be doing here in future research.